So, Gary, during your run at CNBC, you had your own show, The Strategy Session. Very popular show. What was the genesis of that? And then what were some of your favorite moments about producing that show?
Well, I'll make that long story short. When I left Newberg Berman and Jay, I had garden leave. For those that are not familiar with that term and that are not Wall Street regulars, basically in order to leave, I had to agree that I wouldn't compete, I wouldn't solicit clients, and so thus garden leave. And I was sitting on the beach, and when I came home and I told my wife, I guess the good news was I was leaving Lehman before it blew up. The bad news was I had nothing to do. My wife said, you got to get the hell out of the house. My three sons were now 28, 26, and 21. Obviously this was 12 years ago. She was like, I said, good news, bad news. Good news is I'm getting out of Lehman. What's the bad news? Well, the bad news is I don't have a job. She said, well, you better find something to do. So CNBC had asked me, the brilliant and legendary Susan Krakauer, who was the executive producer, senior VP of programming, who had put together, created Mad Money, Options Actions, Fast Money, really one of the brilliant people behind all of the talent and creativity over there. We had met. I obviously had a relationship, and they asked me, would I consider doing something on a full-time basis over there? And having the big mouth that I had, I said something along the lines of, I'm an investor. I'm not a trader. I'm not even a good trader. A lot of what you do, a lot of the program is not even geared towards, what I can be value added. And Susan, being Susan, called me into her office, said something like, I guess she's going to watch this. So, she'll probably want to come on, Jay, and say, she didn't say, she said, sit the hell down and tell me what kind of show you'd like to put together. And David Faber and I, we've been close friends for, going to date us now, probably 35 years. Obviously, Dave, one of the originals over there. He and I had a vision where, much like Squawkbox was trying to replicate what took place in a morning meeting, we want a strategy session to be the show in the middle of the day where you had to turn the volume on. And the objective was we wanted to talk to the professionals, the investment advisors, the portfolio managers, the asset managers, and we wanted it to be a peer-to-peer discussion. So instead of having people come on recommending stocks, we would much rather have a private equity investor come on and tell us what type of investments they were making, or capital markets. And we had, some of the things that stand out in my mind after the financial crisis, when General Motors was restructured and started to have the post-restructuring trade. We had the head of capital markets who advised for Morgan Stanley, on our air live when the thing started to trade. That was never had happened before. We had the CEOs of all of the firms, Gorman and John Mack when he was there, and Lloyd Blankfein. We would have the CEOs of the various firms come on, and it wasn't necessarily to talk about the story du jour, the story of the day, but rather really to talk about strategy, how they were running the businesses. The best memory I have is thankfully when after the financial crisis and after there had been a lot of real, general public negative publicity about Goldman Sachs, I got the call one day. I was going down to Goldman Sachs as capital markets editor at CNBC to, and at the time, Goldman really wasn't that much in the public, but I had worked with them, and they gave me the opportunity to come down to one of their conferences. And I was just coming down there for a conference to, I don't even remember what it might have been a technology conference, one of their conferences. We were going to cover the conference. And the night before, I got a call from their media people to say, hey, how would you like to have Lloyd Blankfein on live? First post-financial crisis interview. And that was definitely something I'll always remember. First of all, it was very gracious of Lloyd to do. And the amazing thing about him was, if you remember the Muppets, remember there was some language in some emails about clients being Muppets, and everybody was like, oh, when Goldman speaks, are they going to, talk about how they refer to clients as Muppets? And the nice thing about Lloyd is that he said to me, come, we're going to do it. I think it was like an hour uninterrupted live on air. And he said, we could talk about anything. There's no subject off limits. So, I've got tremendous respect for that type of an approach. And, I could probably name 15 or so things, but that's certainly one of the things that stands out. And we had a great run with the program, and David and I remain extremely close today.